Namaskar and a very warm welcome to NCERT's live interactive program. I am Neha Tripathi. You are watching us on SWAYAM Prabha's channel Kishore Manch. You are also watching us on our official YouTube channel NCERT Official. Every word we speak produces sound. When we utter a word, it makes a sound, like the words I am using to communicate to you is making sounds, and with the help of these sounds, you are able to make out what I am saying. But every word, I mean one word, has different sounds. An initial sound, a medial sound, and the final sound. As the name suggests, initial means the first sound, medial means the middle word, and final means the last sound of the word. With more interesting angle to this sound story, we have with us Professor Varada M. Nikalje from Department of Elementary Education at NCERT. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you.
Before we start our conversation for the day, here I want to add that you can ask questions related to the topic on our toll-free numbers 1-800-111-265 and 1-800-11-2199. You can even send your queries to our YouTube channel NCERT Official, and even you can mail us your queries on our email address ciet.kishoremunch@gmail.com. You can even share your feedback on our mail address. And if you have made any activity, done any activity, planning to do it, record it and share it to your YouTube channel, and then share the link with us. We would try to incorporate them in our show. You can even share your videos or images on social media and tag NCERT social media channels. Thank you so much. Now, coming to you, Varda ma'am. What are the objectives? Like I spoke about the initial, medial, and final sounds, which we are going to discuss in next half an hour. What are the objectives of this sound?
Yes, thank you very much. I think that we have to seriously think about sounds. Many people take the words in languages for granted. You know, it's like the furniture in the room. You take it for granted that your desk will be where you have exactly seen it. The teacher's table will be in its place, your office desk will be in its place, and so on. And so we tend to take words for granted. And so also with the sounds. But we need to be more aware of words and of sounds, because sound affects meaning. And I think that would be one of the objectives of focusing on initial, medial, and final sounds. One, of course, I would like to say here about the objectives. To facilitate the cognitive development of children. The cognitive development is to think out of the box for children. That to facilitate cognitive development, which means to trigger those areas in the brain which deal with language. Also, then we need to look at phonetic awareness. Phonetic awareness is the awareness related to sounds and the importance of sounds in relation to meaning. And then we also need to look at how vocabulary is increased in children. That is, when they come to think about sounds, when they play with sound and create or remember new words, then it will increase their active vocabulary. Earlier, perhaps they knew words, they had heard of these words, but then it was not part of their active vocabulary. That is what we call the passive vocabulary of the children. Then, to facilitate the appreciation of sounds, that is sounds which we shall be dealing with in a little while, and when they focus on sounds, naturally it will improve the pronunciation skills of children. So these are the objectives that we would be focusing on.
Okay. But another aspect to the story, the sound story, is that it makes different sounds. So why the placement of these sounds is so important?
Yes, so let us sit back a little and think of sounds and why sounds are so important to us. More so, why should there be a discussion on initial, medial, and final sounds? Let us think of our mother tongue, for instance. You know, you may think that a child begins to speak the mother tongue almost, effortlessly, seemingly effortlessly, but that is not the case. Now, you may also think it's so easy The initial sound, as you said, is the first sound, the medial is the middle, and the final sound or the ending sound. So a child can easily identify them, and so do we really need to think of sounds? Let me take an example. When I was in the NCERT branch, the RIE Mysore, there was a faculty member who was listening to me speak, and I said that one of the things I would really like to visit is the Chamundi Betta. That is the Chamundi goddess on a hilltop. There is a temple, a very famous temple. All tourists go there. That is Chamundi Betta. And he says, oh, Betta in Hindi is sun. So he did not hear Betta, he heard it as Beta because Hindi is his mother tongue. And he had to really listen, and I had to say the word 2 or 3 times for him to really understand that what I am saying is Betta, that is the double consonant, and not Beta with the long vowel sound. So we hear, in a sense, what we are conditioned to hear by our mother tongue. And that is why we do find that when we speak, we are a little bit influenced by the mother tongue when we attempt to speak a second or a third language that we have learnt. In Kannada, for instance, the word Z is not there. It's not there in the alphabet at all. And so when they want to use an Urdu word, like Arzi, they will say Arji. Some of them say Arzi and some of them may say Arji, but then it doesn't really matter because the meaning is not affected. Now if the meaning was going to be affected, immediately they would have their pronunciation corrected by somebody. But since it's not affected, it's just kind of let go. English, as we know, is a second language in our country, and we need to support children in their learning of English. So in class 1, for instance, the initial sounds are taught through a fun way, like rhyming words or action songs, and let us identify the first letter, bet, bat, which is the initial sound, and so on. That doesn't mean that it's not useful to class 5. It means that it's just kind of built upon and then continued class 5. Why only class 5? Class 10 also. Even as adults, we need to focus on initial, medial and final words, as I gave in the examples, in the 2 examples just now. So when we are talking about class 5, for instance, we have alliteration and assonance introduced. Of course, the terms may not be used, but the concept certainly is. Alliteration, as we all know, is the beginning sound which is identical in a group of words. As for instance, let me show you here. These are very common in tongue twisters, and one of them would be Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppercorns. So the sound P is repeated. One more I have written down here, which you can see perhaps. So Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppercorns, that is one, and here this is a good cook could cook cookies. A good cook could cook cookies. So ask the children to say this sentence 10 times without stopping. I'm sure, Neha, you will try it later with your 7-year-old son.
Sure, ma'am.
So a good cook could cook cookies. A good cook could cook cookies. And then perhaps because they are in class 5 and they know a few words and their vocabulary is of a certain level, you can say this is a good cook, which means it's a person, a good cook. And then here this second word cook, this is a verb. She could cook, he or she could cook cookies. So a good cook could cook cookies. Here the first, that is the initial sound, is repeated, and if you go wrong, well, the whole meaning will go. If you say a good book, then the meaning goes haywire, and therefore it's important. This is a fun way of making them aware of sounds, because this k sound is very conspicuously present in this sentence. The materials that I will be showing in this is from Raindrops, the English language learning kit. I will be using these materials to show you about initial, medial and final sounds. For example, for the initial sound, let us see this one. This is from Raindrops English Language Learning Kit, developed at NCERT for the primary stage. As you can see, this is made of hardboard, and it's very sturdy and children can use it. This learning kit, English language learning kit, I have also shown in other sessions as well. Perhaps Neha, you would recall that in an earlier session also I had shown this one. So here this is again I should stress, this is child friendly, and you know here there is a protective plastic here, the child will not hurt his hands, and it is very sturdy. Even if the child drops it from a height, it won't matter, it won't shatter, and certainly it will not hurt the tender fingers of the child. So let us look at one initial word here, that is PL. This is PL, this is a consonant blend, and you can try, I think all viewers can also try, take up a pencil and paper and try to write down as many words as you can write from PL. So you can say, for instance, Neha, can you think of a few words to start off the discussion?
Please
Yes.
can be one word. Plough.
Ha.
P-L-O-U-G-H.
Yes.
These words
Please
can be
is a
we can
word
use.
that certainly class 5 would know. Play
Yes.
is another
Play.
word. Yes. Plough, P-L-O-U-G-H. Some of them may know, some of them may not know, but still, you know, if there are two children in the house of more or less the same age, this can be a kind of competition. The parents can give this PL consonant blend, for instance, and ask children to just write down as many words as they can. Another way of, suppose there is only a single child at home, or even if there are two, what you can do is you can say a 5-minute duration. Your time starts now, like you know the Kaun Banega Crorepati kind of thing. Your time starts now, and then children are asked to write down with PL as many words as they can. They may say play, you know, or plate or place. Plastic, yes. So
children use such words.
Excellent. So when they look around them, you know, when they start writing words, then they look around and they say, oh, this is plastic, I can write this one. Plant
can be one word, yes.
And then they will write down. So again, parents, some parents mistakenly think that, you know, if there is a children should write only short words, long words will be difficult for children, and so on. I think the point of difficulty will come only when the child is unfamiliar with a certain term or concept. For example, a child in Srinagar in Kashmir would find houseboat a very familiar word. It would for him be a very easy word, easy in terms of understanding. Although the word itself consists of 9 letters. It's a longish kind of word, but still that child will find it very easy. So difficulty depends on the familiarity or the unfamiliarity of a word, not the length of a word. This is what I want to say. So parents can ask them to, you know, write and look around, go around the house. In schools, we have to show pictures and we have to say, can you identify this picture, can you say the word that describes this picture, and so on. But at home, they can wander around the room and write, as you said, if they see a bottle, they can, they'll understand that it's made of plastic and write plastic and place. Then they will also come to know new words. For example, play is a word. Then when they finish their list and give it to the parent can again say, can you identify how many 3-letter, 4-letter, 5-letter and 5+ letters are there? So if there are 2 children, they can interchange the lists and look at them, and the 3, 4, 5 and 5+, this can be classified. And points
like
can
play
be
can
awarded.
be made playground also. That will be a longer
Yes.
word, but it would be easy because it is related to play.
Yes.
And small children also know about it.
Small children do know about it. So
Yes.
from play, they can also make player and playing and played. Playground I had not thought of. Thank you, Neha. So, so these are words which they, you know, they will enjoy building up on these words, and so their vocabulary will be enhanced. So similarly with the word plant, now we come to slightly unfamiliar words. You know, when you are describing about plantation, for instance, tea plants, but then a whole lot of them growing, acres and acres together in Assam and other places. Then you have tea plantations or coffee plantations, and the word planter can also be a new word which they will be introduced to by the parent. Then even if the parent is not aware of all the words, that also can happen. They can look up words related to or growing out of the basic word plant and get a whole lot new words. Of course, in this game plurals at the moment is not allowed, because then every word would be double, so it would.
Ma'am, one thing I need to ask.
Yes.
One thing just came to my mind, like when we are saying play,
yeah.
and then we are also making a word playing. We are also making a word played. So are these tenses like simple present or continuous, or these are also new words for the children?
Yes, these are also new words for children, I agree. And they at that moment, just count the number of words. At the moment we are focusing only on the initial consonant blend PL, pl, which is P, P and L, L, right? So it's a combination of these two. So later on they can be told about tenses and how these words, the same root word as you said, if we write ing, then it becomes a kind of describing a continuous action, and if you say played ed, then it becomes past tense and so on.
Yeah.
Right. And if
our
you put
viewers have also added a couple of words. I just
have
to mention. They have said planet. They are using word place.
Right. Yes.
They are using word plate.
Okay.
So they are coming up with good more number of options for us.
Now what you can yes.
Just one more thing. Can parents make these kits what you are telling us, and how they can help the children doing this?
Oh yes, yes. This one, of course, as I said, this is this forms part of the English language learning kit Raindrops. But as you can see, this is just the initial sounds here. This is for group work. We have quite a few of them. I'll be describing each one of them. We have used, this will be used in group work. However, since now the scenario is changed, the children are at home, parents are at home, so they can be given only one at a time, maybe in the one day, or maybe in the morning one and evening another. Or if there are two children, you can give this one SH and then ST and so on. You can, parents are free to create, as long as children begin, first day they may make only 10 or 12 words, and then later on they may make 20-25 words, and then they can exchange the list or discuss with elders or grandparents and increase the number. So that is how one of the other objectives, as I said, about increasing the active vocabulary. Another way of doing this is by giving hints. Make the child sit in front of you with this PL and say something, I want a word that means a lot, very much, in abundance, and then it begins with PL. So then the child will slowly think what is very much, a lot of, quantity is more. Such things you have to keep on saying without actually saying the word. By mistake, don't say the word. So then the child will say plenty, has to come round to that word. So let me see if viewers, since viewers are also becoming interested, this is a consonant cluster, S and P combined, SP, spur. Now let me give you a hint. Can you write the name of a gardening instrument beginning with SP? I'm sure viewers would know. A gardening instrument, the name of a gardening instrument.
I know.
Well, okay.
We'll wait for the viewers to
we'll
tell.
wait.
Yeah.
Then another thing, gardening instrument done. Well, if you know, and just like that, like you did, even if the parent knows, don't be in a hurry to tell the children it's a 5-letter word. Don't say, I mean, till the child says, oh, I give up. Then you can say, please don't give up so early. The first 2 letters are S and P, and it's the total is 5 letters. So you
People
only have
are
to
replying,
write 3
ma'am, with
more.
the word.
Okay,
They
got
know.
it right. Spade, spade. Okay. Now another one, that is something that adds flavor to food. SP something something something. Something that adds flavor to food. What do you use? It can't be salt. It has to be something beginning with SP. I mean, the British came to India for it.
Okay,
Ha.
I know now.
Okay. Again, this is also a 5-letter word.
Yes.
We'll get back to the viewers at the end of the program if by
Yes.
then they haven't got the answer.
Yes.
So another one, last one is a tiny seedling.
Ma'am, they have replied the right
good.
answer.
Right. I'm sure
We've
they
got
would.
a couple of them.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you plant, a small bean or moong or something, put it in water, and then what will come out? A tiny seedling. And the word for that begins with SP, and it is, so can you think of that? This one is a 6-letter word, but again a very familiar one to children of class 5 at least. So we'll move on to the next one, but I'm sure viewers will get this answer also. A tiny seedling coming out from a plant, a very tiny one. Okay, so let us go to the
Ma'am, they are
final
telling
sound.
sprout. Is the
Yes.
correct answer.
Yes.
Ma'am, we have last 5 minutes. If we can move on to the medial and later.
We are going to final, and after that the medial.
Okay.
After initial, we are coming to the final ones. These are the final ones. Look at this one. This is ER and this is OR. Now I am doing this. Then this is IES, OL, and CK. This beginning sounds are comparatively easy. Spur, stir, school, and those all. So here we need ending. The ending is given, the blank is here. You have to think of
Clock.
words,
Yeah.
like teacher is a familiar word which you can write here. You can also write smaller words, and here can be doctor, for instance, and this one, this. Can you think of plurals perhaps which end in IES, right? Yeah. Now with that hint you will get many more words. And then this one, school, as I already said, there can be pool or even so many other words. Cool is there and so on. And this one,
Studies, player,
yes,
people
studies,
are coming up
yes.
with options like
Very good.
studies,
Okay.
player.
And what do
ER.
you have? Again, you can come up with simple questions. You see the time, it's hanging on a wall, and it ends in CK. So that would be
Clock.
right?
Yeah.
Now, these words, they can be used to teach the comparative form. For example, if you are using the words low, lower, ER is used. High, higher, ER again is used. Wet, wetter, dry, drier, though the spelling will change here. Poor, poorer, rich, richer, and so on. Another interesting thing that you can do is ask children, write all the words which come to your mind which end with the sound er. So they may start writing teacher, doctor, carpenter, sailor, editor, all these words, and it is possible that some of them may make spelling mistakes. For instance, editor, they may end with ER instead of writing OR. They may do that, I am saying. Then you tell them leader, will it be ER or OR? Leader. So they will have to write the correct spelling. Then actor, is that the ending would be ER or OR. What about the bus conductor? Bus conductor ending in ER or OR. What do you have in the fridge? Where you keep ice cubes, where water is converted into ice. So freezer. That is ER or OR and so on. And then just to
we are
finish,
left with last 2 minutes. If you can
Right.
explain the median
Then
sounds,
the
and people
medial.
are really,
medial sounds,
creative.
this
They are
is
coming up with
cognitively higher.
options.
There are blanks on this side and this side. You can write 1 or 2 letters. This would be H here, AI and R, hair. And this double consonant ones, like as you said, plastic, and then you can write bottle here if there are bottles at home, little, and so on. And this one again, school, SCH, and then one letter here, 3 letters here. It's not that it has to be equal on both the sides. So again, you can keep on giving clues to these and making them think in different ways. They should not go on saying, you know, only one kind of sound like school, pool, tool, but they should try to think of different kinds of words like foolish, for instance, and help them to develop their vocabulary. They can look at newspapers and find out new words. They can listen to the radio, look at the TV with the ribbon, you know, with new words and so on. And I really hope that parents and teachers and of course dear children would enjoy this activity of initial, medial and final sounds. Thank you so much.
Of course they will. In this half an hour I can see how many options, how many good number of words they have already suggested us. So keep suggesting these names to your children also, and allow them to make new words, to be creative. Thank you so much, Varada ma'am, for this wonderful session.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, we enjoyed it a lot. I can see that. And thanks to our viewers for watching. But keep watching, because we are coming up with another interesting session which says blow hot, blow cold. What is it all about? You'll know in a few minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. Namaskar.